What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. And the other day, I think it was yesterday actually, when I made that video talking about how Ernest Jones won NFC Defensive Player of the Week, I said that while this is a Seahawks channel, I do like to celebrate and give props when an individual player on this team wins some kind of a meaningful accolade. Well, we got another one. We got another one, and this is for a Player of the Month for November. So, not just a week, but an entire month this time. We're talking about Jason Myers. You can see that they got NFC Players of the Month in this tweet from the NFL official account. Stafford offensively, Nashon Wright defensively, but right here, we got Jason Myers. That's right. Jason Myers, Seahawks kicker, is your NFC Special Teams Player of the Month. And for a little bit of a beleaguered and sometimes controversial player, I do want to give him some props. All right, everybody, before we go any further, let's get some picks in over on Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football this year, you are missing out. Check out the left side of your screen. Look at all the fun stuff you can get up to over there. Look at all these mores or lesses that you can pick. Let's put our entry together for this week. I've got JSN scoring an anytime touchdown. Didn't happen last week, but I'm feeling a bounce back this week. I got Chase Brown getting at least 52 rushing yards against the Bills. I got Achane getting at least 78 rushing yards against the Jets. And I've got the under on Gentil rushing yards at 53.5. So get on over to Sleeper, put your entries together. They can look just like this. Remember to use the promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check out Sleeper today. Go have some fun and experience sports the way they were meant to be. And you can see his numbers from the month of November down here. 61 points, which is actually pretty crazy, pretty out of this world. Not often you see a player get 61 points in a month. He did play 5 games, but still, it's a really, really tough milestone to reach. Made all 16 of his extra points, made 15 out of 16 field goals. Now, I know that your first thought might be, well, the one that he missed would have been a really nice one to have. Game winner potentially against the Rams, but it's a 61-yarder. How mad are you going to be? How much are you going to really blame the kicker? I mean, look, kickers in the modern NFL are making 60-plus yarders with relative frequency, so I understand that it's not impossible. It's still a lot to ask, though. So, I mean, it was a stellar month, and shout out to Jason Myers because it was getting rocky for a little bit there. And actually, if you look at the season so far, and I do want to balance this out a little bit, I want to be completely fair and objective here. It wasn't going great for Jason Myers before November. Like, if you look at field goal percentage for the entire NFL for the season so far, Jason Myers is actually down here 24th. Now, a lot of the kickers in front of him haven't played that much, like Young Hoku, Zane Gonzalez, Michael Badgley, Spencer. Like some of these guys you could definitely get rid of because they didn't play enough, they didn't kick enough. Myers is kicking the ball more than pretty much anybody else, so his percentage means a little bit less. 84.8. I mean, if you remove the guys who really shouldn't be on this list because of games played, he would be about near the middle here. But that does illustrate that there was a point in time where things were getting a little bit uncomfortable with Myers. He missed a very makeable field goal against Tampa Bay that ended up really coming back to hurt us. He had a couple other misses earlier in the season. He had some misses on kicks that he usually makes. In the NFL, the way it's set up, missing a field goal is very costly, by the way, because you usually give the other team really good field position. But even with that, even with his kind of bumpy start, and I will admit there was a point in time earlier this year where I was kind of starting to think to myself, man, I really wish I had another kicker. But in November, there was nobody better. And I don't want to give people a lot of credit for hitting a very low bar, but he's made every extra point this season, which, I mean, look, they're extra points. You should make them all, but he's kicked a lot of them, and he's made all of them. So credit where credit is due there. And here's the big picture. whatever negative I can say about Myers, he leads the league in scoring by a lot. He's got 122 points. He's the only player to average more than 10 points a game. He's the only player to average more than 9 points a game. Like, look how far down these other kickers are compared to him. 122 points. We got second place tied, two guys, 105. So, by that metric, he is by far the best kicker in football. I don't know if I would actually say that I would rather have him than any other kicker. There are probably other kickers out there, guys like Brandon Aubrey you would probably rather have, but there aren't a lot. And again, for him, the degree of difficulty has been higher because we do kick the ball a lot. Like, we do kick a lot of field goals. And, I mean, just in general, because we are talking about a very high-scoring team, we kick a lot in general. And when you tie that in with the fact that I think he's been really good on kickoffs as well, you got a great player. And we definitely needed this kind of year from Myers, because I will say he is getting paid like the best kicker in football. You take a look at the cap hits for 2025 for Seattle, Jason Myers is our 7th highest paid player, behind only Big Cat, Darnold, Nwosu, Cup, Witherspoon, and Lawrence. We got players like Charles Cross and Ernest Jones and Abe Lucas who are sitting on a lower cap hit than Myers right now. So don't get me wrong, he should be this good. It should be an expectation that we're getting this kind of this level of play out of our kicker. And keep in mind, he is the most expensive by cap hit. He is by over $1 million the most expensive kicker in the league in 2025. His cap hit is almost $7 million. Will Lutz in second place at about 5.8. So by more than $1 million, Myers clears his position. So it's a reasonable expectation to have, but overall, despite the fact that there have been some mistakes, he missed that important field goal against Tampa. The field goal he missed against Arizona was also kind of important. There have been some bumps in the road here, but we are getting pretty special season. And when we get to the end of the year, there's a very good chance Myers is, at least by points scored, the best single season kicker in Seahawks franchise history. By the way, there's a very important decision coming up for Myers this upcoming offseason. Next year, he's the 3rd most expensive kicker in the league by cap hit at about $7 million. Harrison Butker and Fairbairn are the only two guys higher than him. And if you jump ahead to 2026 here for the Seahawks on Spotrac, you can see that while Myers is not as expensive relative to the rest of the roster, $7 million with less than $2 million dead. So you're saving over $5 million potentially if you decide to let him go. That's a decision that you got to weigh pretty heavily. Would you rather have a good but aging and starting and not as good as the best kickers in the league kicker who can't make the really, really long distance ones the way that some of these guys can, like a Brandon Aubrey? Or would you rather have the over $5 million in savings? It's going to be an interesting decision, but with the way that he's played over the last month, the decision might be, you know what? Let's spend $7 million on a kicker because at least we can count on him. And by the end of this season, we will probably have a much better idea of whether or not we can really count on him. But as someone who really is not a fan of giving a kicker, pretty much any kicker, that kind of money, so far this year, feels like he's pulling it down. All right. See you guys later, Go Hawks. Shout out Jason Myers.